Uh, Hello, everyone. Welcome to one more episode of Talking Times. I'm gonna go very straight to the point today already. See, I sabotage myself all the time. Today, I'm here with Flávio Bortolin. We're gonna have an amazing conversation about aviation and a lot of curious and interesting things. Okay, right after the podcast intro. Hello, Flávio. How are you, man?
Hello, how are you? Good evening,
I'm good.
everyone.
Flavio, I'm laughing because I always sabotage myself. I will say something that I think is funny, and then I have to be serious, and I can't. But it's good. It's good.
Don't worry about
Um,
it.
First, thank you so much, man, for being here. I really appreciate. Um, as I told you before, I have this friend that it's a pilot, and I remember we had an episode here with a former teacher who worked, and it's very interesting to talk about the differences, like about movies and expectations and reality. It's a career that we have had students that were from the aviation, flight attendants, pilots too, people that were studying and preparing to become pilots. So it's very nice to have you here, man. Thanks.
Thank you a lot for the special thanks for the 𝗍𝗍 who gives me this opportunity to talking over here a little bit about um, the start of my life as an architect, and
Hmm.
also talk with you about the steps to be a pilot too. So for
Nice.
me, it's a pleasure being here.
Okay, so let's start with the beginning. Please
Okay,
introduce yourself.
okay. My name is Flávio Bortolin, as you know. I have 27 years old. In December of 2022, I graduated as an architect in a field in which I'm currently active. And finally, in March of this year, I obtained my commercial pilot's license with IFR rating. So it's a
Nice,
very
congrats, man.
recently. Thanks so much. That. I think it's funny because I hear my entire life when I saw my parents I used to be an architect. They say, "Really? But what about your aviation career? What happened?" So I had to explain it. That's my first idea, even to get enough money to pay all the pilot license too. On the other hand, when I taught to my flight instructor I was an architect, he saw to me, "Oh, really? Why did you change your mind? What happened?" So it's
Yeah,
that.
you decided to play live in hard mode, man, because being an architect is hard. Working with this is also hard. I imagine it's a very competitive market, like trying to be a lawyer, a doctor, this type of professions. It demands a lot. And becoming a
Yes.
pilot, you will explain this to us in a few minutes, but it's also
Mm-hmm.
very hard. So
Yes.
you like to play live in hard mode.
It's a constant studies, I have to study a lot about the laws, about the regulations, about the architecture, and about the project. You have to be very good on the softwares. I have to do on the examples like AutoCAD and SketchUp or Revit. Um, I will say 100% of the companies are using this platform today. Even the Bing, the new software and new modes, yeah, it's very nice to be used. So you have to study a lot of the time because every year we have the updates of the softwares. And for me, I really like to work, better saying, to work with AutoCAD and SketchUp too. But
Are
I.
you are you able to do this sometimes, like to relax, or only when you are working? For example, I have a friend. He's not an architect. He was actually a musician, and he was working with other stuff. But he's a nerd. He
Mm-hmm.
puts his mind into
Oh,
something. He
nice.
learns how to do it. he learned how to play. And when I saw the guy was kind of doing the design of his house,
Oh
like
my God, nice.
the 3D model. I don't know, because he's
Nice.
not an architect. If maybe he could screw it up, and then he's gonna get something a bit,
Mm-hmm.
with out of regulations. But it looked very beautiful, very interesting, or at least it was easy for him, for example, to hire a professional and say, "Oh, this is what I want." No,
Oh,
but
nice.
are you able to do something like this to relax? For example, I'm gonna buy a ranch with a house like this, or I'm gonna build this place and do the project yourself, or no, only when you're working?
No, I completely agree with you. I I take this AutoCAD like a hobby to me because
Nice.
since when I was at the college, I used to be draw little airports just to know how to draw. And I remember I take a work to my professor in 2021. I drawing a RC planes field just for my in the middle of a park. And he told me,
Okay.
so why did you project RC planes field in the public park? I say, why not? Why not be creative like that? Why can I do that? There's a this project attending a lot of rules, local rules. That's not never. And he said, no, I'm telling you, I never saw this kind of project in my entire life as professor.
Ah,
So it's the first time it's new for me. Oh, okay, but am I wrong? No, completely not very sure.
oh, it's
So
nice. And
that's a
um, before we go to the aviation thing, tell me a bit
mhm,
of your story as an architect. First, when did you notice? Okay, what's the influence, or what was when did the desire began?
honest.
And how was the trajectory to become one, the path? Was it easy? You had to study a lot when you started the university. Were you disappointed, happy?
Mhm.
How was first? How did it begin?
Okay. So just to begin with, my dad is an engineer, and
Mhm.
my uncle, before started his aviation training, he was technical drafter too. So during all the architecture course for 5 years, I spent a lot of projects in in my time. I have to drawing a lot of houses, a lot of commercials building. So the architecture includes to be a very good on the drawings. I have to say that if you one of you guys who watching me right now who want to be an architect too, I have to say I have to draw a lot of projects. It's very nice, it's very beautiful, but you have to work a lot about that. So in addition, um, how can I say? The course taught me extensively about the numerous software programs that I taught before, use it for design too. And by the way, I can say the projects are the key of the success of a building. They show us what really works and what really is a bad idea. It, for you cannot spend a lot of money. You have to be a
Mhm.
very good project before.
Have you? It would sound a little random, but I swear I have a point. Have you
Okay.
ever watched that show, How I Met Your Mother?
I'm not sure. Yeah, I was watching some kind of episodes too.
Yeah, with the Barney and Ted. I think Ted is an architect, and I'm asking
Yes.
this because I remember that he was very proud of designing a building there in New York. And there was
Mm-hmm.
a season that you were describing the thing, and I remember that I think was his boss or someone important that designed something that was very ugly, the
Mm-hmm. The project.
and then you have kind of this distinction here, something. I
Uh-huh.
don't know. You need to have a certain training, I guess, to do something, in a project, like it can be like drawing, or maybe using a software. but how it's gonna apply it to reality too, right? For example, imagine I'm gonna do a football stadium and ends up looking
Mm-hmm.
like a printer. That's Corinthians stadium, by the way.
Say.
But you know, so
Nice, man.
is there a type of guidance or training, for example, to do things artistically, and doing on the paper or in a project,
Mm-hmm.
and then the applicability to the real world?
Okay, I can say this technical parts walk together, the design and the creative part
Mm,
too.
okay.
When I was at the college, my first day of the classes, I studied with a lot of friends who are very good on the technical directors too.
Okay. They're
So
the artists.
yes, pretty much artists. So there are a lot of designers too. And I was
Okay.
thinking I have to work a lot because I I do not know anything about architecture. I
Okay.
just know, oh my God, I have to say, excuse me everyone, but I just know about the Sims world. So or the
Oh, okay, it's a good beginning.
yes. So I think today I'm getting trouble because certainly there's a lot of new materials to study. So during the course, during the first year, I saw that I could understand a lot of materials received to me, and the college teach us how to work with the architecture. Even during my second or third year of the college, I have to work with the architecture. I have to work in another companies, and that's was mandatory. So during my formation, I have to work with that, and what I learned, it's very useful since nowadays. So I have to say, it has the course has a lot of new materials, but they teach you very well. So don't worry if you in the first day or the first week, the first month of the course, you'll get lost because it's completely normal. It's a new world with a lot of rules, but the course, your teachers, and I was talking professor wrongly before, sorry.
Hmm.
The teachers would help you a lot and you'll be safer when you get study. So it's a very nice course to get.
Nice. And okay, after you go through the university, can you describe a little bit how is the job market of this profession? It's very competitive. What are the some places that people could go, to initiate in this career?
Yes, I had this doubt when I started the course, but I saw that a lot of job offers, especially in the city that was living when I take the course. I lived in Bauru. It's
Hmm.
the city of the state of São Paulo, and I count it has 45 architecture companies and
Damn.
more 15 or 16 engineers companies. So there's a lot of opportunities. It's very competitive, I have to say. But for us, for who is starting the career or starting the first opportunity to talking better saying to works for the first time with architecture, and the city received us with open doors, I can say.
Nice, man. Okay, very,
So
very nice. Good to know. And before we go to aviation, I have
okay.
one more question about our architecture that is about how technology influences that. Because, for example, you were describing something very interesting about ChatGPT and aviation. So hold on.
Mm-hmm.
But for example, I imagine with this type of AI and this type of innovation brings a lot of different tools and stuff that you can use, maybe to
Okay.
filter a project or to enhance something, but it doesn't replace the human professional or the main tools that you already use. For example, I cannot ask the ChatGPT to create the whole project for me, for example. I imagine there would be
Yes.
some inconsistencies, right?
The ChatGPT is a very question because it's a very good question because this AI tool help us a lot, especially at the creating time. When you have
Mm,
to take a 3D house who was ready to render, the AI
mhm,
platform improves a lot of realism and captivates the clients too. So it's very useful tools, and I recommend, but carefully recommend
mhm,
this platform just to for you don't take only AI tool like only truth. No, you have to work about that. You have to work about the house, the project, but it's a nice another hand to help you to the project. In addition that, you were talking about the softwares and the technologies about the architecture.
mhm.
Just at the first year, we have to draw some projects on our hands with really drawing,
Okay,
with the pencil,
man.
because yes, it's a lot of work because you have to put in your face a very huge and very large paper, and there you
Look,
have to.
this is what I would do in my first year there. This is the
That's
extension of my no, I would enhance. I would put a window, a door, maybe a chimney with
Uh-huh.
some smoke coming out of it, but that's it, you
Yes,
know.
of course.
So you need
And
to have some basic skills there, right?
yes, you need to know how architecture was 20 or 30 years ago. So you have it's mandatory you learn how to draw and why are you drawing. Just to
Nice.
take your agility, how can I say? To drawing
Mhm.
fast and drawing good, but drawing fast. So starting at the second year, the college teach me about the and shows me the software's world. So I have just 1 or 2 months for training, especially AutoCAD was the first tool I have faced. And I think I was thinking myself, bro, why I cannot take this platform before? Because it's very nice. It's very fast. You have to to draw a very huge project like a week, especially because I was students. Today we can draw a lot of buildings in a day. I could draw
Damn.
to entire house in a day.
So
What?
this could be a good
I'm sorry,
recommendation
can you
for
hear?
people. Yeah, perfectly.
Oh, nice.
This could be a nice recommendation for people that want to enter in this field. Get yourself used to using AutoCAD then, just for fun and start some projects, basically, right?
Yes, and
It's gonna
just
make it
for
easier.
yes, of course, and just for how it works. No, it's not
Makes sense.
it's not hard to make a download of this platform, and it helps a lot. It's very nice to use the AutoCAD, and I recommend just when the college or another institution introduce you about the AutoCAD, you have a before experience this way.
Makes sense.
It's
So
improved a
you're
lot.
gonna be in a
It's not
more
hard for
comfortable zone.
yes, for
Nice.
sure. I was completely lost because it's my first time that I am teaching about architecture. The first time I was knowing about these softwares, so I could get the how of this works very fast, like 1 month training every day with the class with my teacher behind me. So it's very nice too.
Nice. Okay, so now, nice man. Let's do the transition to the aviation thing. So when you were kids, you had this family influence, but what about the aviation passion? When did it begin? How was the experience for you, man? Like when you thought, oh, I like this, I'm gonna become a pilot one day.
Uh-huh. Well, since my childhood, I have trained on flight simulators, online flight
Uh,
simulators. Yes.
Uh-huh.
So my uncle gave me a joystick, just like a video games joystick, and he downloaded for me a flight simulator. And also he taught me how to fly RC planes. You know, that's a little airplanes controlled remotely.
Ah,
So
okay.
I think it isn't very knowing hobby, but this hobby stayed with me to this day. I'm still having my RC plans and I still practice practically every month. But I can.
Man, here where I live, I used to live close to a park here in Campinas. It's called 𝗀𝗃𝗃𝗃 Park. I remember that on the weekends, there is an area there in the park where people used to do this, you know. And I
Mhm.
used to watch by far. They had like a remote and the airplane
Ah,
doing that. And
uh-huh.
uh,
That's the first step of the RC planes. I can say the control line airplanes.
mm-hmm.
During the 1940 or 1950, the pilots used to fly RC planes at this way. It's a cable connected by the side wing of the aircraft, and on the other hand, you
Ah,
have a controller, and the engine of the aircraft don't have acceleration. They when it started, it's running with all maximum RPMs. So one person gives the aircraft and you get circles, but you can do a lot of maneuvers. It's a very
nice.
interesting hobby because you have to look at your hand and your aircraft without take care about the background, just you and the aircraft. They're very, very
Man,
nice.
I imagine it's very relaxing because you're 100% focusing in the moment there, you know.
Oh, for
And
sure. It's very
nice.
relaxing because you have to know a little bit about physics too. You have to do the maneuvers up to the wind because if you fly over the winds, the aircraft could hit the ground.
Ooh, oh, that would be a
Yes.
bummer, imagine, because it's
Oh,
very fragile, I imagine. Fuck, yeah.
yeah, it's very
Okay.
fragile. It's all
Okay.
constructed
So
about the wood.
you started doing that as a kid,
Yes.
and when did you actually decide, okay, this is like a dream, but I'm gonna go to the course, I'm gonna prepare myself and start
When
to put this in action?
well, to to begin with, when I have 17 years old, I talked to my parents about my passion, about my dream. I want to be a pilot. So about the costs to get a pilot license, they told me and recommended me to take another course just to start another career to get
Mm,
enough money or pay the pilot private and commercial pilot license too
mhm,
before. So when I was 23 years old, I started this dream. In March of 2023, I bought the materials, I bought the all online tests you can do, and then I start my training. So I'm sorry, could you repeat the question just for make sure I understand everything?
no, it's exactly this. So you had the dream since you were a kid, you started practicing. And then
Yes.
at this time, you started put this in motion to actually do the thing. I asked you that just to know, what are the misconception that people have? For example, I imagine they think like, ah, I'm gonna be a pilot. I just need to do a course. Like they imagine it's like a university. You know, I do the
Uh-huh.
course, I finish, and I start piloting. But there are a lot of steps, right? It's not like that.
Yes. There's a lot of steps and must be followed very seriously because you are thinking about another lives, another flight
Mm,
rules, and especially about your life too. Yeah. So today in Brazil, I would like to do a little disclaimer, just
mm-hmm,
for we know, just for we still take care about that. Um, I strongly recommend all of our listeners to contact a flight school and a flight or a flight instructor, even better, and get all your questions answered, especially about the cost to become a pilot. And I would like to please follow the regulations and the laws. It's a quite important too. Here in Brazil, we have aviation is regulated by ANAC, while in the United States, you should refer to the FAA for official informations. So I must say, I like to say, if you want to be a pilot, take care to study a lot. This is the key of this flight safe and must be followed at all costs. But answer your questions. Here in Brazil, I can say in 2026, at least 250 flight hours you have to get, and 30
150.
hours, yes,
Yeah.
150 flight hours you have to get, and at least 13 hours in IFR simulators are required. The IFR simulator is when you could fly with adverse weather conditions, just for understood what happens to the aircraft, what happens to the wind, and the most important, how to understand all the panels informations that you are seeing in front of you, because during the off flight you do not inside IFR conditions, you cannot take look ahead because you are seeing nothing, but really nothing. It's just clouds in your front, clouds in your behind you, left behind, and clouds in the back of you. So you have to do is only look to the panel to make sure you're flying the right roads, your heading is quite nice, you are not deviating, and your speed indicator, if you're not taking over speed or stalling your speed, it's very important to pay attention with all the stuff together.
So there's a lot of I imagine two things comes to my head here. The first one, the level of emotional and psychological control, because, for example,
Yes,
if you
for
panic,
sure,
that's it. You really need to be calm, I imagine. And
for
is
sure.
there where the flight controller comes in too, like to give some sort of assistance, something like that?
Hmm.
Because you have all the instrumentation there that you check, but I
Yes.
imagine that you need to have a good relation with them in this aspect too, right? To get instructions to understand.
Uh-huh. I would like to talk about you a little story from IFR simulator training that I have watched from a good friend of mine during the
Hmm.
course, and I have the opportunity to observe that. And after 15 minutes of the flight, our flight instructor told him, you have a engine failure, and he shut down. He shut down the engine, handled the situation, and saved us. He said,
No
Without
pressure.
engine, no pressure." At that moment, the student, my friend, performed the engine shutdown checklist and the emergency checklist too. So after that, we requested priority for immediate landing at the nearby airport.
Hmm.
He, during the flight, could calculate the glide performance and realized that would be able to landing at the near airport without problems. So when he performed a perfect landing on the runway, the flight instructor told him, "Congratulations, you have failed. You are
What the
reproved
hell?
of the session and come back here when you get better prepared." So after he heard this, and he looked back he looked at me and so to questioned the flight instructor why he was reproved about this section. The the flight instructor told him, "Bro, at no point you didn't perform the engine's restart checklist. You just took down your engine. What? You didn't not attempt anything beyond the shutdown checklist. You, in any moment, tries to restart your engine. And what are you thinking? I cannot approve you because you get in panic. I show you a adverse situation, and you show me a start effect. The start effect is when you start to say a lot of stuffs, but any of these stuffs are correctly. It's a panic
Oh man.
inside your
Wow.
head.
So
He
he did
was
everything perfectly, but for the wrong situation.
for the wrong situation. If
Oh.
he tries to restart his engine, that it's required of the checklist you
Hmm.
have to perform. Probably, I don't know if his engine will run out, but he was doing the perfect checklist correctly and in order. If you take this situation and takes to real life, the insurance will not pay to the costs because there's a human failure over there.
Oh, so it would be a
Probably.
huge problem for the company. You lose a lot of
Yes.
money, and damn.
Yes.
But okay, correct me if I'm wrong, because or explain to me like I'm 5 years old. But
No
the way
problem.
I understood is like you can jump start the fucking aircraft the way I jump start my Celtinha. Oh, it's not working. And then okay, no, no, you don't need to panic. It's back.
It's back.
What the-
So when
In a
you
way, it would be something like this. You shut down the engine, turn
Mhm.
on again, and it's working. Okay, guys, we are covered. No problem. Ha ha ha. That's just
Yes. That Yeah, that situation is completely impossible to happen because it happened to me one time. I have a engine
man.
failure and I performed the restart checklist. So I taken off the how can I say? I turn on the mixture of fuel and tries to run out the key. And forgot that their engine was running perfectly that day. It's just carbon accumulated in the engine.
Man, that's
But
impressive. So, okay, I don't know what you think. I'm mind blowing. Because it sounds to me, I imagine that when you have a problem and the guy asks you to reset the router. Oh, my
uh-huh,
internet is not working. Just reset the router. Okay, now
let's
it's
figure
perfect.
out that.
Okay, there. No, just do
So,
turn off, turn on the engine, and that's it.
mhm.
Damn, man. But
How can I say? When I am planning my navigation flights,
mhm,
I used to like to take the notes about 4 airports from departure or
okay.
informatives from the arrivals airport informatives. First alternative and the second alternative if something get wrong with this particular case. So you have to, when you have a very large planning, you get more comfortable to take the flights. So this can prepare us very well to any adverse situation that we can face it during the flight. I
Man,
remember one
this
time.
this was amazing, man. Interesting the story you told too. So sometimes simple solution, and if you panic,
Uh-huh, you
yeah,
take the you
the
take the
wrong choice.
control. Yes. You take the control, your self-control with every day and every time. Since I would like to motorcycles too, when I put my helmet on, I can think all the wrongly situations can have faced. So it make me very alert to the track, to the tour, even anything else. So when I was traveling in a car and a motorcycle, I should think into the worst during all the time because I get prepared and I am very alert to avoid any situation, any bad situation, and be aware to the traffic, to the another people, another drivers, or even riders. So it prevents a lot of accidents or incidents.
Nice. Can you can you explain us what is the practical difference there? Because it's something that for me is never clear, like you were telling me before. What are the things that during the flight that the pilot does, the things that the autopilot does, for example? Because
Mhm.
when you watch a movie, seems the impression that we that don't, for example, me that I don't understand is like the conditions are okay, press a button, all right, and now we wait, And so, what are the
So,
actually things that the pilot does during the flight, and what are the limitations of the autopilot? This distinction.
so during the flight, we are just talking about the after the engine is running, every
Mm-hmm.
planner is okay, every weather condition is available. So you have 80 or 12 checklists you must be performed during the flight.
Damn.
Yes, a lot of these it was reading loop. So you have just pick a paper, see what you have to do, and really do the action. The
Okay.
autopilot it's very it could be your friend or it could be your enemy too. Oh, sorry. Can you hear me?
No, no problem. You're
So
here. Okay,
I'm
so
really
it
bad.
could be your friend or it could be your enemy.
Yes, because it always he will doing what you saying to him. So we have
Okay.
to before the takeoff in the ground, before starting the taxi of the aircraft, I wish to prepare my PFD. The correct name is primary flight display. Yes, in the aircraft we have two tapes, the PFD and the MFD, a function display. So at the display you have the autopilot mode. So you have to set the altitude that you have to take, reaching, better saying, with altitude you have to reaching. With airspeed, you have to perform during your climb out or doing your cruise flight. And even better, if the another airport from the arrival is is connected on the flight plan. So when I say, better saying, when I say to the autopilot which airport I would like to land in, which frequencies I would like to talk, which altitude I would like to go in, which airspeed, with all this part configured, I can press the button autopilot mode, and then the aircraft will be takes the flight and taking me to the another airport. But he cannot landing for me if I do not authorize that to him. He taking me to another altitude close to the airport, and then I hear a sound. Then the moment to perform the manual landing. It requires
Okay.
two, and there are not too much airports who you are authorized to perform the autopilot landing without you controlling, just the autopilot do the whole thing. Especially because you
Damn.
have to follow this one.
Oh, okay. Damn. Okay.
This is one of the charts that you have to perform during your flights. So when you're going to take off, you have to follow the seed. the city standard information department. So you have to follow them. If you do not follow, you are in get troubles because it's counter the rules. During the flight, you have to take a star chart, a standard arrival chart. Can I
Okay.
say? Yeah. And during your landing, you have to perform the 𝗖𝗍𝗍𝗍𝗍. The name is Instrument Approach Chart. So the air traffic controllers will say to you, okay, prepare the ILS from runway 15 left. So you have to take in your iPad or in your tablet or the primary flight display, this ILS for runway 15. Because if you do not take this procedure update in your screen, you cannot land in safety. And at least, but not less important, you are getting troubles because it's counter the rules. It's a crime. You do
Oh,
not
okay.
land.
Yeah, and of course, all these regulations exist in order to guarantee that everybody's safe and you land,
Yes.
correctly. And okay, so okay, it makes sense the quantity of hours that you mentioned before now because it looks so many things like overwhelming. Imagine the first day that you start doing it's like, oh my God, I'm never gonna memorize everything and
Mm-hmm.
a lot of stuff. And
Yes.
how was your first flight, man? When you started to do the whole training and you say, okay, now no more theory, you're gonna start the practical thing. How was it for you, the feeling and
Oh, nice. Well, I can say it was very challenging, but extremely rewarding too. Just
Mhm.
for an example, I have one kind of charts. You have to follow these instructions. If you do not follow this, it's a crime. So that's
Damn.
standard chart instruments, departure chart instruments, just to be correct. It's
Okay,
public.
this it would be like the displays that you see.
Yes, display MC, and there is a lot of limitations over here. It has to be followed at all costs. So
Damn.
you asked me about my flight training, my first training,
Mhm.
first flight hours, and each so at the same time it's very challenging. I was very happy too because each flight and each lesson is unique. And it's nice because you feel happy with your own progress during the flight training.
Nice.
So I would like to say the first step to join at Aviation World, you have to complete the medical exams too.
Okay.
There you have to go to the clinic and carry out some tests like a eye examination, ear exams,
Mhm.
treadmill tests, both of these. So
Makes total sense too. If the
yeah.
pilot has a heart attack when the plane is there, bye bye. Yeah.
Yes. Then um, I adopt during the flights, I adopted 5 seconds rules. It helps me a lot to make the conscience, my conscience be very aware about the traffic. Because during 5 seconds, I look ahead, look to the roads, look to the field, I see if I do not flying over the birds. It's very dangerous for us, very dangerous. And then I take my eyes to the cockpit. Then I can see the altimeter, the airspeed indicator, the engine parameters, if everything is works good, then I could look forward again. Look
This is
outside,
very
look for
intelligent,
birds.
man, because it becomes a habit. So after you start doing this,
Yes, it comes
you
a
just do
habit.
it automatically. Okay, nice, nice.
Yes.
And
So this stage, is when you fly VFR. VFR is visual flight rules. When you are operating under VFR rules, the weather conditions must be suitable with few clouds, light winds, and no imminent rain. Yes, because you really have to fly, taking a look for the terrain, take a look for the fields, take a look for reference at the ground that we use, especially at the cards, that public chart. So if you are flying under bad situations, under imminent rain, you cannot see anything around the field. So it's very dangerous. For that reason, it's very important you separate and get very trained to the visual flight rules and the instrument flight rules too. But I completed 43 hours to the private pilot's license to get my private pilot license. And these hours includes 4 hours in flying over the night. And I have to
Oh,
say it's the
must be
most
scary, man.
beautiful. No, it's very nice, it's very beautiful. Take a look to the city. Only thing that's changed comparing the flying at day and flying at night, it's when you go on a landing, you lose the reference to the ground.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah,
Hence the reason you have the lights on the runway, right?
yes,
So
you have the lights on the way, and the runway, you have the strongly lights of the aircraft. So when
mm.
you saw the ground, you can see the landing gear touchdown. I say, oh, that's a bad one. because
Okay.
because you have to take care about that just to not take a hard landing because you are at sea very nice the
Hmm.
ground. That's the unique difference, but I prefer to fly at night because it's very beautiful. See
I
the
imagine.
the
Y-
the light of
You
the
you
city.
you you must be aware not to be distracted too, right? Like you were there, and then I said, "Oh, man, a falling star, so beautiful. Oh, is that a bat? Is that like?"
Yes.
So I imagine uh, one of the characteristics that you really need to have to be a pilot is you need to be very focused on whatever you are doing. You get
Yes.
easily distracted there. It's dangerous. I imagine it must be. I don't know if it makes sense or not, but at first, terrifying when you, for example, the first time you fly over a forest or a jungle or ocean, for
Oh,
example, because you
yes.
imagine, oh, there's nowhere to land, or it's gonna. I don't know if there's nowhere, maybe because we see movies like, oh, this guy land the plane on the ocean and stuff like this, but. I imagine
Mhm.
this would be hardcore, like the level of danger, maybe.
Yes, from my personal, to the best of my knowledge, I
Mm.
prefer to fly over the ocean than over the jungles, over the forest.
Really?
Yes, for sure. Because when you are flying over the ocean, if you need to perform a ditching, the landing is you have all the situation to get okay. With no passenger injured, with no crew injured,
Mm,
there is a possibility to make a good landing. Good
okay.
landing is it's not a nice word to say, but safest
Okay.
landing
Say. Because
because we
there are
know,
floats, there, those breathing masks that so even being on the water, there would be a way for people to escape and, ask for
yes,
help and so.
for sure. And you are flying over when you are flying over the forest, the rainbow. Please, listeners, I don't want to scare with you guys. The aviation, it's very safe.
The guy's
I,
like, oh my god, Serra da Mantiqueira, no.
I'm talking like that because
Uh,
I am experienced single engine aircraft. You have just one engine. It's very safe. But if you have two engines, if something bad happens to one engine, you have the another one to take the flights. and gives you to the destination without problems. So please do not scare us what I'm gonna tell right now. But when you're flying over the forest, if you have a loss of power, you need to landing on the forest. There's too much obstacles. Is that the correct word?
Yeah,
Yes, there's too much
the
obstacles.
trees and a lot
The
of stuff
trees.
there. Yeah.
Yes, a lot of stuff. It's broken. Of course, it will broken the heart they're playing, but the deceleration, it's very hard. So you have to perform a very nice landing, and it's a terrible landing than ocean landing, ditching, I can say. Just to compare,
So
in order to compare the two situations, I would prefer to land at the ocean, make a ditching, even to take a landing over the forest. Just to conclude, during our flight training, the flight instructors told me, "Hey, observe the fields, the terrain over you. If you are seeing the terrain very brown, it's because there are no trees or the was I can say
vegetation there. Mhm.
yes, sorry. Vegetation there, it's very short, so you
Mm.
can landing without this block down your take down your wheels like this. Do
Mhm.
not take a very green or dark green terrain overhead.
This is
Take
very interesting.
a brown because there's no vegetation over there. You can perform the landing on the even on the grass.
So, for example, let's say somebody has to do an emergency landing in a forest, for example.
Okay.
I don't know if what I'm gonna say is absurd or not, but if there is a river, it would be safe to try to land on the river than in the middle of the trees.
Ended up trash landings on the river than
Oh,
the
interesting.
forest. It's the safer than you tries to landing over the forest, over the obstacle. It's
Okay,
safer than the tree if you perform a ditching like that. But that's
interesting, man.
a completely hypothetical situation.
Of course,
So just for
and to be completely realistic, is actually uncommon, right? When we talk about accident stuff like this, it's the same. For example, if you watch F1, the accidents are the
Mhm.
exception, but when they happen, they are extraordinary to a level that everybody pays attention and it's something whoa. But
Mhm.
I don't know, thousands of flights happening all the time, every day. I imagine.
Yes, we have a lot of thousand flights. What can I say? Flying right now, you
Hmm.
can open the app or enter the website Flight Radar 24, and you
Hmm.
can see all these aircraft flying too. So, do you remember about the movie Sully about
Uh-huh.
that
The
captain
hero
who
pilot that landed the
yeah,
plane and saved them.
yes, of course. He performed a ditching over the river, and no passengers
Ah,
get injured.
true. I remember the movie. I think Tom Hanks, right? I
Yeah, yes, the
think
actor
it's Tom
was
Hanks.
Tom Hanks. That was the last accident I ever had. Sorry, I ever heard that
Hmm.
happened. Aviation is very safely, and a lot of people do not when you take a make a movie involving aviation world, you can see any troubles, any catastrophic situation happens, everybody in panic.
Hmm.
So I confess, it's making us panic. Even me when I was watching that film since my childhood. So
Hmm.
there's 3 years since I started this career in aviation, and I have to say the flight training. I know it's very hard, but for that situations, we know what to do, and we know how to get out of there if anything gets injured. So
No,
it's very nice.
it makes total sense, Flavio. For example, when you make a movie, people want to see, hell unleashed. They want to see the problems. You will never watch a movie or a series that is everybody getting along without any
For
conflict or
sure.
problem. Like, imagine it would be the most boring thing to watch ever. We want to see the
So,
exceptions. What are the things that happen, for example,
mhm.
before a flight that passengers don't see?
Nice, nice, man. Nice question. In fact, I can say, oh, let me just take care about that. Okay, to begin with, like you say before, most of people think we simply get in the cockpit, press the autopilot button, and
That's
cross
it.
our
Yeah.
arms like this. However, the flying represents only about 10% of our profession, of our career
10%?
steps. 10%. I will tell an example for executive pilots in executive aviation. For 2 hours of flight, at least you have to prepare it like 5 hours of navigation planning. You know, you need to, first of all, you need to check the weather conditions for at least 3 airports. And after that, we must determine the best route to fly. So next, we we have to write down all the relevant air traffic controller frequencies for the flights. I take over here at my paper. I take
Okay,
this to the
damn, it's
flights
a
with
lot of
me.
stuff.
Yes, for one flight, 2 cities, I have to talk with one, two, three, four, five air traffic controllers. So
Oh, yeah.
just to continue the explaining, um, we have to arrange the payments of the ramp or hangar fees from the arrival airport. And afterwards, we need to prepare the flight plan. In there, we have to describe everything related about the flight, such as date and time, persons on board, the POB, routes to be used, the flight intentions, total fuel, aircraft model, and the colors of that aircraft. In Once the flight plan has been approved, oh, this flight plan was available to the Air Force. They will see this flight plan and is approved or reproved. So we a lot of time are talking to the Air Force to request some informations. So
Oh, so by the time the passenger sits there, open the peanut sack and starts to, there
open
has
the
been
finish
a
next.
whole, yeah, exactly. So exactly, there's a whole team of people that have prepared everything else so to have a smooth flight and go to the destination.
Yeah,
Oh,
yes. So then once the flight plan has been approved, the weather reviewed, the airports defined, and the routes established, we can proceed to airport just to retrieve the aircraft. But we are not authorized even to start the engines yet. Because,
damn, man, it's a lot of
yeah,
stuff.
yes, and we are just going to the airports. Yeah. At the airport, we must perform the external inspection just to see if everything is all right, and verify too if it needs to refueling the aircraft, if it will be necessary. So, after completing all the steps, we can wait for the passenger. And over average, there are between 80 or 12 checklists you have to perform to make a good flight.
Okay,
So it's
so
very
I guess
uh,
people will understand. Okay, I understood. It's safe enough. I can go.
so
Yeah.
just to, how can I say, just to finish the explainer, at the commercial flights, you have four teams who take care about the aircraft for the passenger. I can't visit this in the flight dispatcher. The name is 𝗏𝗀𝗃. In Portuguese, is the despachante operacional de voo. It's responsible to performing all the weight and balancing calculations for the aircraft in order to prepare and manage the baggage, the passengers, and the fuel to be loaded in accordance to the local regulations. So I can say one more time, without this stage completed, the aircraft is not authorized to start these engines. So
So it's
yeah,
flying safe.
yeah, it's fine. Next step, we have the ground crew who are responsible to fueling the aircraft, handling the baggage, and performing any necessary quick maintenance tasks. And then you have the cabin crew who prepare the passenger. You see the flight attendant gives you a nice flight. In them during can I say? So the flight attendants, the first officer, and the captain will complete all required checklist related to the doors closes and the emergency checklist too, and the emergency procedures too as well. And finally, we have the flight crew, the first officer and the captain. So about 1 hour before the flight, was to be 1 hour or 2 hours before the real flight, a briefing takes place during which all flight details are reviewed and discussed, like I said to you before. They discussed about the CRM procedure, corporate resource management. I mean, if the captain or if the flight first officer has a piloting capacitation, what you have to do, what procedures you have to follow to continue the flight and to get all the passengers cabin safely. I mean, and the most important, which charts will be used on that day, which the seed, star, 𝗖𝗍, and ADC charts from the reports are involved. What can you use and why? After that, the crew proceeds to the aircraft completed, one more time saying, 10 or 14 checklists in this procedure are mandatory to the flight safety. So it's starting to say.
If I ever fly again, I will never be scared anymore.
No,
I'll be like,
we
I'll
think about
remember
that.
you describing everything for me, would be like counting sheep. You have to do this and then I'll say, oh, everybody's doing that. The departure guy's like, yeah, I can rest assured now, it's fine. Man, thank you
So,
so much, Flavio. I guess if everybody, okay, people that are afraid of flight, they will still have to go there and and get used to it. But the logic makes total sense. And
oh, nice.
unfortunately, we are running out of time. I told you that time flies,
Oh
pun
man, time
intended.
is flies. Now it's
Yeah, yeah.
7 o'clock.
But I have one
7
final question
p.m.
for you. That is a Marília Gabriela question. That is, how do you see yourself in the future? What are your plans, regarding the aviation career and everything?
Oh, well, I have to say, thank you so much for this question. Well, to the best of scenarios, I would very much like to become a pilot in executive aviation in the future. However, to achieve that, I need to build a substantial flight experience beforehand in order to fully understand and safely manage an aircraft independently. So I have to take at least 800 hours of flights in this particular case because the insurance will not pay if the pilot has less of hours. You have to be a lot of to get a lot of flight hours to prove you are able to take the aircraft. Therefore, my goal is to work as a first officer in a Brazilian airline for exchange for 2 or 5 years, or even that 10 years. So in the future, I would like to search about opportunities to transition into executive aviation. And just to conclude, currently I'm already participating in two selection procedures.
Nice,
One
man.
one of these is from airline uh, airline world, and another one is from air taxi operator. So I have to train a lot. I have an English test to do, like I was saying. In today, I would like to one more time thankful the 𝗍𝗃 to the opportunity to talk in English, because I have to study a lot, just my English, just the materials gives to me, or get a chance in a airliner like a first officer. Today, that's
Man,
basically my future.
I think you can rest assured by the conversation we had today. Like I told you, I don't understand much. I did almost nothing, and I could
Mhm.
understand everything that you told. So you explained it in a very clear way. So you are more than prepared. You can rest assured about that.
Of
You know,
course.
and
The
and thank you so much, Flavio. It was very nice talking to you. I will invite you to come back after you get your license presentially here in the studio. It will be a pleasure, man. You know.
For sure. I completely agree with you. Especially that's first time I am talking in English over 20 minutes currently. So it's a
Nice.
nice opportunity. Thank you so much.
Make a habit. Thank you so much, man, and appreciate it. And guys, thank you for being here with us as well. Okay, don't forget, send this to a friend who likes the topic. Don't forget to subscribe, to leave a comment, and this episode is going to be on Spotify tomorrow. See you on our next flight, pun intended. Bye bye.